Bachelors Grove is a small one-acre cemetery in the southwest Chicago suburb of Bremen Township, Illinois. Nestled in the Rubio Woods Forest Preserve and now abandoned, the cemetery is one of the oldest in South Cook County, with its first recorded interment dating back to 1844. The origin of the name Bachelors Grove is in dispute. Some attribute the name due to the large number of unmarried immigrant workers that migrated to the area in the early and mid-1800s to help construct the Illinois-Michigan Canal. However, other forests in the area were typically named after the pioneer families that first settled in them, and indeed there are records of a bachelor, Batchelor family, settling in the same area as the cemetery. Most local historians believe the cemetery was originally named after this family, and the quote-unquote misspelling of the name over the years led to the current official spelling of its name. The cemetery is accessed via a quarter-mile hike along a dirt path through the Rubio Woods Forest Preserve. This path was originally the route of the Midlothian Turnpike, providing access to the cemetery. But once the woods were designated a forest preserve by Cook County, the original turnpike was closed to all automobile traffic and rerouted due to easement restrictions. Long used by local youth as a place to hang out and hold underage drinking parties, the cemetery had become the unfortunate victim of vandalism and neglect over the years. However, with the closing of the turnpike in the 1960s, the already obscure cemetery became even further isolated, and vandalism accelerated. Today, fewer than 24 graves are still identifiably marked, and those that remain have also been vandalized in some way, shape, or form. Markers have been defaced, broken, moved, and even outright stolen from the cemetery. Desecration of the cemetery, however, has gone far beyond defacing of grave markers. Grisly evidence of graves being exhumed has been reported numerous times over the years. As might be expected, many stories of alleged paranormal events abound about Bachelors Grove. A small lagoon that touches the northwest corner of the cemetery is said to have been a dumping ground for the bodies of Al Capone's nemesis during the bloody Chicago gangland wars of the Prohibition era in the 1920s. Some say the spirits of these gangsters are still not at rest. Some have also reported a phantom farmhouse in the distance that vanishes as people try to approach it. Others tell the tale of a woman in white seen walking and sitting in the cemetery, and a strange glowing ball of blue light. Still, others report of car headlights and even automobiles spotted on the dirt path leading to the cemetery that vanish as they approach. How many of these stories have any basis in fact is not known, but being a Chicago native myself, I've long been intrigued by this tiny neglected cemetery. On a return to my childhood home to visit friends and family in December of 2002, I could not pass up the opportunity to finally visit the grove and see it firsthand for myself.
I am here in Illinois, moving through the woods in search of Bachelors Grove Cemetery. We got a late start getting back in here tonight, and as you can see, the sun has already set. It is dark, and I'm walking back into the woods by myself, and I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh God, I hope I don't get lost in here. Did I go the right way? Where's the trail? Looks like this is it. Oh shit. Unfortunately, I don't have my cell phone on me either. I sense that I'm very close right now. Every description I've ever seen of or read of the cemetery says that you can hear the traffic from the Midlothian Turnpike in the distance. I see a clearing to my right, and there's a chain link fence around it, and there it is. So here I am in Bachelors Grove Cemetery. I'm here in the cemetery by myself. The first thing that strikes you about Bachelors Grove is the overwhelming neglect that this small cemetery has seen over the years. I look around, I see virtually no grave markers that are still standing here. The place has been vandalized and ransacked. It's also rumored that this place has been in the past a venue for cults to perform rituals at. However, tonight I am the only one here, and let's get some of my equipment out, set it up, and see what kind of readings we got. Okay, what I'm doing now, taking out my tri-field meter.
Finally, I set down the video camera and started turning on various other pieces of equipment, like my tri-field meter.
I'm going to set it over here on this grave marker. Right. So far, no activity on the tri-field meter.
I also started snapping photos with my digital cameras.
I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of digital photographs.
I got several orb-shaped anomalies, which normally I dismiss as probably dust in the air reflecting off of the camera flash.
Just felt a sudden drop in temperature in the center. Small cold spot.
I did notice a definite drop in temperature in one particular area, and a few brief flashes of light in the trees, which I was able to see with my naked eye. I initially dismissed these as probably nothing more than my imagination. However, I did capture one interesting piece of video that I can't explain. I was scanning the cemetery with my flashlight. At one point, you see my light illuminating a grave marker. Towards the upper left corner of the headstone, you see a very brief flash of green light, and then it's gone. I didn't notice this at the time I taped this footage. I initially thought it might have been a car headlight on the turnpike, but I was not facing in the direction of the street at the time. It also appears at a much higher elevation than the car headlights could be seen, not to mention the green color pretty much rules out car headlights to me. And of course this was taken in winter, about 32 degrees outside, so fireflies can be rolled out as well. So what was it? Inconclusive.
I think I'm gonna wrap up here pretty soon. I'm starting to get the creeps. Well, I've just about lost all of my light here. Very little I could do besides take some more pictures, and I think I've got probably enough. And I think maybe what will need to happen is I will need to return here another time. So this should do it. It's time to head back down the path here. That was, without a question of a doubt, the most single, exhilarating moment of my ghost hunting career. Finding myself looking over my shoulder as I make my way back down the path to make sure that nothing is following me.
While I didn't have any definite paranormal experiences in Bachelors Grove on this outing, I did feel a definite presence there. I left the cemetery with more questions than answers. I promised myself I would return to Chicago soon to follow up. As luck would have it, that would be just 7 weeks after my first visit.